Welcome to LaunchRevs, where we cover new car launches and review the latest cars. Today we are checking out the new 2026 Subaru Forester Wilderness. The Wilderness treatment is applied to a couple different Subaru models for those who are more active. They like to go beyond the grid. People who are into backpacking, hiking, kayaking, skiing, and more. And with the new 6th generation Forester, we have the return of the Wilderness trim. Now, this all-new generation was designed with the Wilderness treatment in mind. So the previous generation, a couple little compromises, but not for this new one because they planned for the Wilderness Forester from the beginning. So we have more utility, more capability, the rugged looks. We've got all-terrain tires, very generous 9.3 inches of ground clearance. And today we're going to be spending some time with this one. I'll take you on a tour of the design. We'll talk about the powertrain, check out the interior, and take it for a drive. Let's take a look at the exterior styling for the new Forester Wilderness. So the Wilderness treatment gives you a unique, more rugged look. We've got these copper accents up front, and I do really like the hexagonal LED fog lights. For the lower fascia, this is plastic, but below that we have a metal skid plate for a bit of protection and quite a bit of clearance for both the look and a good approach angle. You have this matte black like sticker on the hood, more contrast, which looks pretty cool. And then we have 17-inch wheels with Yokohama all-terrain tires that are a little bit wider than before. They're 235s now and quite a bit of clearance. You got the black plastic fender cladding and the Subaru Wilderness badge there on the fender. Up top, we've got the roof rails here with more of that copper accent. And then you have more cladding here on the lower side of the doors for that rugged look, along with the Forester badge, again, in that copper accent color. Coming around to the back, you see a symmetrical all-wheel drive badge. I really do like the copper accent. It definitely stands out. And then the new rear end, another Subaru Wilderness badge. We've got the lettering with more of those accents stamped in on either side, and then quite a bit of clearance below here too. So that's a quick look at the styling for the Forester Wilderness. The tires, the all-terrain tires definitely help the whole look. And I do like all the accents, the cladding. It definitely gives it the more rugged, all-terrain activity look. There are a couple unique colors available for the Wilderness specifically, but this one here is a pretty nice metallic gray. It pairs well with all the black cladding all over the vehicle. In terms of the powertrain, we have a 2.5-liter Boxer 4 that makes 180 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. Every Forester model comes with a Lineartronic continuously variable transmission, but the Wilderness gets a shorter final drive ratio. It is of course also equipped with the Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive system. Let's take a tour of the interior of the Forester Wilderness. So we have synthetic materials. This is an animal-free interior. Even the steering wheel, that is synthetic leather. This is StarTex. It is water-resistant, and it's got a really cool texture to it too. A lot of these little stars. We'll notice that pattern on different parts of the Wilderness. You also have the full Subaru Wilderness logo embossed here on the headrest and the kind of yellow gold stitching accents. And you see it there on the steering wheel. Really ties it together nicely. Lots of cool topographical curvy patterns too on the all-weather floor mats there. And then the door has this little like tag, Subaru Wilderness. Kind of reminds me of like the tag you get on a shirt that you're supposed to take off or something. And then more of the stitching, nicely padded here. And then more of the cool patterns here. This one has the optional upgrade package. So we have the Harman Kardon sound system and the full digital cluster. So the digital cluster's got some nice graphics, plenty of information. And we also have wireless CarPlay, Android Auto. If you're running wireless CarPlay using Apple Maps or Waze, you can actually pull up directions in the cluster. The large vertically oriented infotainment screen here is more on the basic side, but it gets the job done. Pretty simple to use. We can pull up our vehicle settings here. We have X mode. You can go through snow, dirt, normal, deep snow, and mud. You can also control your traction control here, various other pieces of information. Go back home. We were running CarPlay pretty much the entire day. You can see car info with some off-road, different angles and things like that. maintenance info too. So more on the simple side in terms of the infotainment system. I believe Subaru calls this Starlink. We also have heated seats up front, wireless charging pad here, and they've redesigned the center console for the 2026 model year. A big thing was to give you more space, practicality, storage. This is a larger cup holder, a slightly smaller one, so they're actually staggered in size, but they say this can fit a very, very large water bottle and actually has space for your handle too. So this is for more practicality, along with another slot here, the keys in there. We could put a phone there if you wanted to, and then we have the transmission selector shifted leftward, parking brake here. This pulls up the camera view, so we have the forward-facing camera, only takes up the top half of the screen. But other parts of the interior that stand out to me are the really cool textures. This hexagonal pattern here is really, really cool. And then you see the star pattern that goes from larger to smaller, fading away to just pretty much little dots here and a matching yellow, gold, copper accent color. This actually kind of reminded me of something that Mercedes uses in their branding with the little stars there, but obviously Subaru also has these stars in their logo, so they can take claim to that kind of branding. Same thing on the passenger side. We've got the little Subaru Wilderness tag right here, even on the seats back here. The seats are nicely padded, pretty comfortable. The driver's side is power. This side is going to be manual. And they've also redesigned the center console area. This is slightly larger. It's like 1.1 liters more storage. And they moved the armrest, just it extends out further. So for shorter people, they can still rest their arms there. So that's a quick look at the interior up front. We do have a pretty decent sized sunroof here, manual opening. Now, let's go take a quick look at the second row. Similar treatment here on the seats, that cool pattern. And then you see more of that topographical pattern there on the floor mats. Same thing on the doors right here. Good amount of space. At 6'3", I can sit behind myself. I've got plenty of legroom, plenty of headroom. And we have a USB-C charging port and a conventional USB charging port, and it tells you how many amps it's going to output. And then in back, we've got a good amount of cargo space, another very durable feeling all-weather mat with the really cool topographical pattern. Little Subaru stars there, it says Forester. Let's see underneath here, what do we have? So this is not quite a full-size spare. It's actually the previous tire size. That's a 325, but it's better than a can of Fix-A-Flat, right? And then we have a cargo cover there. See a Harman Kardon speaker back here. Can fold seats down. Power release over there. So that's a quick look at the interior of the Forester Wilderness. All right, let's do a bit of driving in the Forester Wilderness. And as you can tell, we are very much in the wilderness. Take a look at that view. That is quite nice. So this thing is designed to be more rugged, more capable. Not extreme off-road, but more than, obviously, a regular Forester. And this segment of light activity, off-road, durable, kind of SUV crossover is becoming very popular. And one of the big reasons is the buyers of this kind of vehicle are very much active, younger, and affluent for their segments. So the OEMs definitely like that. You see a lot of these options popping up. Again, not hardcore off-roads, but still more capable for those people who want to go, again, off the grid, whether you're hiking, backpacking, skiing, water sports, snow sports, whatever it is. And to test it out, we're up a small mountain. Got a little bit of water right here. Get the Forester a little bit muddy. Now, one of the big things that Subaru is going to have over anything the competition offers is their symmetrical all-wheel drive system, which does have quite a bit of history, but functionality too, because it is a true mechanical all-wheel drive system. It is kind of Subaru's trademark. They do actually have a little bit of sacrifices to go for a true mechanical all-wheel drive versus a part-time one, but they feel it's worth it. I think their customers feel it's worth it. We've got a couple different modes to play around with too. We can go here to our vehicle settings and this thing called X mode. I'm going to use snow, dirt. You see there's also, what was the other one? Deep snow / mud or normal. It pulls up the camera, which to be fair is very fishbowl and not the highest resolution. So in X mode, we do have hill descent control. I can see the little green light flashing as we make our way down the mountain. Coming up, it was totally fine. You could feel the all-wheel drive system shuffling power to ensure we had traction. And this thing has 9.3 inches of ground clearance, which actually is marginally more than the outgoing one. The previous one was like 9.2, and the increase is just due to the tire getting just a tiny bit taller, but it actually is rather competitive in the segment. Whoa, look at that. Getting a bit of articulation here. Now, what I don't want to do is get stuck up here because that would be rather embarrassing. But this is not going to be a problem. What exactly are we competing against in this segment? Well, the big thing is going to be the Ford Bronco Sport Badlands. The Bronco Sport, the baby Bronco, shares a platform with the Ford Escape, so it's not the big brother Bronco. But again, it's this compact crossover with more of the all-terrain adventure feel to it, and it's got some pretty good capabilities. That formula is more close to what the Forester Wilderness provides. There's other options. Toyota has the RAV4 Woodland. There's now a CR-V Trail Sport too, and Hyundai has the Tucson XRT, and Nissan has the Rogue Rock Creek. But those are lesser degrees. Some of them, the entry ones, like a Rogue Rock Creek, is really just appearance and some minor changes to the software. It doesn't have all-terrain tires. They're not going to do more extensive of an engineering change. Whereas then you have the mid-tier, but at the top, this is going to probably be the most capable in this segment. Other tweaks for this newer powertrain, because the engine is relatively carryover, that 2.5 Boxer 4, still naturally aspirated, 180 horsepower, 178 pound-feet of torque. But the center diff has been retuned. Ooh, there's water. Let's go through the water. For better response, it can lock quicker, better torque distribution. Go through this slowly. Just want to get the Subaru a little muddy. There we go. And this thing is a CVT. Now, the CVT is shared across the lineup. In the previous generation, the Wilderness Trib had a different CVT compared to the regular models. Now that previous Wilderness-only CVT is now standard across the lineup, but this one has a shortened final drive ratio for a little bit better response. You know, when you go off-roading, you always joke that a Subaru could do this. Well, we're literally doing this in a Subaru right now. Big part is just going to be the tires. Of course, we do have the all-wheel drive system, but a CVT naturally aspirated 2.5 liter Boxer 4 with the right tires, a little bit of a lift. Yeah, not a problem. And we're just on a gravel road right now. Whee! Nope, lots of understeer. But this has been, oh, there we go. Got it to slide a little bit downhill. We're on some nice tarmac, so let's do a bit of driving and talk about some of the dynamics in the real world. This is not a very potent feeling powertrain. It's actually rather anemic. It is just slow. When you floor it, it doesn't really go anywhere. And even for this segment, I have felt options that are significantly more torquier and quicker. This could definitely use either a turbo for some forced induction, or obviously they give you the option of a hybrid powertrain, which definitely would help. I don't love CVT behavior. But yeah, that's merely adequate. And I gotta say, outside of the power or lack of power, the dynamics, the overall experience, the demeanor of the Forester has been very pleasant, very comfortable to live with. It drives fine, and honestly, that's what most buyers would be looking for. In summary, the Forester Wilderness brings some nice updates, continues to enhance the Wilderness Go Anywhere personality with generous ground clearance, the all-terrain tires, proper all-wheel drive system, and even increased 3,500 pound towing capacity. The powertrain feels a bit on the weaker side, especially compared to anything with a turbo or the hybrid versions in the Subaru lineup. Pricing for the Forester Wilderness starts at around $38,000, which is priced very competitively versus the Toyota RAV4 Woodland, CR-V Trail Sport, and Ford Bronco Sport Badlands. I hope you enjoyed this review of the 2026 Subaru Forester Wilderness. Make sure to leave a comment below, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.